and well. He said so in a campaign email after another assassination attempt on his life yesterday while golfing at his Trump International Golf Course in West Palm Beach, Florida. The suspect has been identified as 58-year-old Ryan Wesley Routh. A Secret Service agent shot at Routh after spotting him pointing a rifle through a fence near the club's property line, targeting President Trump. Authorities found a scoped AK-47 rifle, 2 backpacks, and a GoPro camera in the bushes where he was hiding. Vice President Harris also writing this on X, that she's glad Trump is safe and, quote, violence has no place in America. Joining me now is Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty, a member of the Senate Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committees, Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and the Senate Appropriations Committee. Senator, great to see you this morning. Thanks very much for joining me. What is your assessment and reaction to this horrific event?
Well, good morning to you, Maria, and I just thank God that President Trump is safe. You know, I talked to him just after he was shot last time in Pennsylvania, and he said, Bill, God held me in the palm of his hand, but for a millimeter, I wouldn't be on the phone with you right now. This is another call far too close, and the rhetoric here in America has got to calm down. When you think about what we're seeing in the media, likening Trump to Hitler, the type of rhetoric that's coming from Democrat leaders and politicians, we really need to tone it down, get down to policies, get down to basics, stop the personal attacks, stop the attacks in the courtroom, and really get down to what the voters want to hear rather than everything that's creating this zone of danger around President Trump.
You know, President Trump, once again, was incredibly tough as ever after the incident yesterday. He said, nothing will slow me down. I will never surrender. Of course, the shooter has been detained, but you're right about the rhetoric. Reckless rhetoric from Dems and media to blame for second Trump assassination attempt. That is the title of Miranda Devine's piece this morning in the New York Post. The Federalist writes the same thing, that after the first assassination attempt on July 13th, President Biden came out and told everybody to lower the temperature. And then he turned around and did interviews and said that Trump was the bad guy. Democrats called him the next Hitler, a threat to democracy, primary spreader of fascism, and an existential danger to the nation. What are we going to do to stop this rhetoric?
It's just unbelievable that they continue to jack this up. The Democrats will stop at nothing for power. But you know what's interesting, Maria, and I remember this very vividly. President Trump called me on the night of my election in November of 2020. He called to congratulate me, and I said, Mr. President, you're ahead by 700,000 votes in Pennsylvania. I'll be calling you to congratulate you later tonight. And he said, you know, Bill, if I win, it's not because President Biden was my opponent. He said, my true opponent was the media and big tech. I've never forgotten that. I've never forgotten that, Maria.
Yeah, that's right.
And big tech.
And by the way, we need to call out people like leaders in the Democrat Party. Democrat House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, okay, an hour after the second Trump assassination attempt, comes out with this: we must stop MAGA Republicans. We must stop them. I mean, he's not stopping. This was an hour after the president was actually surviving this second attempt. So, you know, they're not getting the memo, Senator.
You're exactly right. And you've got to ask yourself, where is leadership? Is this nothing but just an all-out thirst for power? And they're willing to sacrifice, show hatred for half of America. It's so sad.
Yeah. Let me move on to the breaking news of the morning. And, of course, that has to do with Israel. Yemen's Houthi rebels claiming that they shot down another American-made MQ-9 Reaper drone today. This comes one day after the terrorist group fired a missile at central Israel yesterday. The missile did not strike its target. No casualties were reported, but this is ongoing, this assault on Israel. Israel says it tried to down it with its air defense systems, but the missile slipped through with only partial damage. The Wall Street Journal editorial board is out with this today. The U.S. should long ago have taken stronger action against the Houthis, as well as against Iran, for supplying missiles to Russia and the Houthis. President Biden fears escalation, and so Israel has to live with Houthi attacks while U.S. Navy commanders in the region play defense against Houthi assaults. Senator, I mean, what is your reaction to this nonstop attack against Israel and this dithering from this administration?
Well, let's go back to, I'm going to borrow one of Vice President Harris's terms, the root cause of what's happening in the Red Sea right now. The root cause is Iran. And this is the Biden administration's policy of appeasement. Under President Trump, we had maximum pressure on Iran. The Houthis were out of business, as were Hezbollah and Hamas. As soon as the Biden administration comes in, as soon as the Harris administration comes in, they release all the sanctions. Now Iran is pumping at full blast. Revenues have been flowing in to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars. Iran is the greatest state sponsor of terror. The Houthis are one of their beneficiaries. These are not these are not Houthi rockets. These are not Houthi technologies. This is Iranian technology and funding that's driving all of this. The Biden administration needs to shut Iran down. They won't, because they've waged war on domestic energy here. They're trying to maintain oil prices in America for the election. The result of that is unrest around the world. We're seeing it take place right now with the Houthis firing in the Middle East. We need to step up and stand strong against this. We should have shut the Houthis down from the get-go. This talk of escalation, go right back to the source. It's Iran.
Yeah.
Shut down Iran.
Yeah, I mean, and there's no reaction from this administration, which seems obsessed with doing another nuclear Iran deal.
You can't get them to say the word Iran. Yet what we hear is that the Ayatollah's on the verge of nuclear breakout. And if he has a nuclear weapon, the situation is going to become far worse in the Middle East.
By the way, did you see last week in the debate when Kamala Harris claimed that there were no service members in any war-torn areas? I mean, no fact-checking on that. We heard from actual soldiers who were in Syria and elsewhere who said, well,
Exactly.
who are we?
There have been claims that she doesn't read her briefs. As I heard that, I thought exactly that. I can't believe that she doesn't know this, and I can't believe the moderators won't fact-check her when you have a gross miss like this.
Yeah, real quick, I want to move to economics with you, sir. The U.S. budget deficit reaching nearly $1.9 trillion in August. One more month to go until the end of the fiscal year. Got October 1st. We'll begin the new year, and we could see a shutdown. That's up 24% compared to the same time last year, Senator. What's the story on the budget? Do you believe we will see a continuing resolution? I mean, there's obviously no other way. We got to see a CR. But why are the Democrats in the Senate unwilling to attach the SAVE Act to ensure that non-citizens are not voting in this election?
The Democrats in the Senate are unwilling to do anything. We've had our appropriations bills ready for months. Chuck Schumer continues to just bring show bills and radical nominees in front of us. He's cruising toward a shutdown. And they don't want to do anything to acknowledge what the real threat is at our southern border. What they're really trying to do, and we've forced them to a vote on this, Maria, you and I have talked about it before. They want these people to come in here so they can get them into these states that are losing population, so they can increase electoral votes there. Clearly, they want to register them to vote. That's happening in certain states right now. This is deeply concerning to Americans. The Democrats do not want to act. We're going to come to a crisis point here very, very soon. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out of the House.
Yeah, but isn't it true that the Democrats know that the Republicans will not shut down the government before an election? I mean, look what's happened in past shutdowns. 1.3 million essential government workers report to work without known payment dates. 800,000 non-essential government workers furloughed. Delay of IRS funding, refunds, rather, delay of IRS refunds. All this stuff, this happens in a shutdown, and the Democrats know the Republicans are afraid of it because it'll be your fault.
It's a state of play that's been going on long since I got to the Senate. But the time has come for the American people to speak out. I think that they are. I hope that my colleagues in the United States Senate will get the word, this has to come to an end. These continuing resolutions are as reckless as they can possibly be. We have the appropriations bills ready to go. Chuck Schumer needs to get the word, bring them to the floor. Let us do our work. Let's act responsibly in the United States Senate.
Real quick, are you willing to take it to the mat and shut down the government or shut down the border, shut down the government and not succumb to all of these games every quarter, it seems?
We'll see what the options are, but I certainly have gotten to that point with them in the past. So I'm looking forward to see where we land on this one in the coming weeks.
Senator, you're a gem. Thanks very much for being here, sir.